Greetings, it is Diane Cox here. It's the end of April, so we know what that means. It means the tarot guidance and insight for May 2024. And as you know, the tarot are all based on symbols, okay? And all through ancient worlds, symbols have spoken to people and people's unconscious. The tarot are a bridge between the unconscious and the network of energy that connects us all. Okay, so, and of course to our own inner wisdom and our inner knowledge. So when you come across the tarot in a reading like this, where I have an intent that everybody who comes across this gets something from it, something uplifting, something insightful, something helpful for May 2024. And everybody's leading their own life, and everybody's got their own challenges and their own joys and their own journeys. So, look at the symbolism in the tarot, what cards come up today, and let them speak to you. You know, it might just be let's see what I pick. Actually, this wants to be seen. So, in this card, you might notice something about the boat or the shape of the waves or the dolphins, okay? So, or the colours. So just let them speak to you in a way that seems relevant for today. So I have an intent that this tarot reading, as I say, gives joy, insight, food for thought, reflective guidance for May 2024. Let it touch your unconscious, your ancient wisdom that you've gathered from thousands of ancestors along the lifetimes of where you are now. Okay, so let's have a look. May 2024. I'm going to do a Celtic Cross today. The minute I started thinking about doing the reading for May 2024, the idea of a Celtic Cross was immediately in my mind, so that's what I'm doing with the Mythic Tarot. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Okay, so what do we have as our significator? Okay, we have the Page of Swords. So we have Zephyrus here. And this is a card of, look at him. I mean, today I look at that and I go, oh, blowing hot air. Okay, so the significator here would just be, okay, there's hot air, there's people on the kind of, I want to say on the warpath actually. So, okay, I'll just say it. He's on the warpath. He's just blowing, it's the east wind, isn't it, Zephyrus? And the winds of change, the winds of communication. Swords are all about the mind and how we communicate. So I would say with this card, communication is going to be on the card, for May 2024. And let's see, what crosses it? Do we have a bridge or an obstacle crossing it? Well, I would say that was kind of a bridge and an obstacle. A difficult bridge to cross. Well, not really. The King of Pentacles, King Midas, okay? And this card's come up a bit lately. King Midas, everything you touch turns to gold. He asks for, he's granted a wish. He asks that everything turns to gold. And then he realises his folly, that he can't eat or drink. And even though he has all the riches he thinks that he needs in life, he can't eat or drink, which is really a rather basic necessity to carry on being the king. So the king goes and asks that the wish be reversed and he can go back to normal and eat and drink. And it's a card of, King Midas is a kind of kind king. He's a nice king. But also it's a card that says just be careful what you wish for. Okay, be careful what you wish for. Think about your manifestations. Think about what you're wishing for yourself, and think about why you're wishing it for yourself and your life. So what's the overarching card? Haven't had this for ages, this card. So this is the Hanged Man. And the thing about the Hanged Man is, as you can see, he can basically, from that position, see things from a very, very different point of view. The Hanged Man is, in this, I think this is that terrible story, I think it's Prometheus who gets tied to a rock and has his liver pecked out, but let's not go there for now. The Hanged Man, he's alive in the Rider-Waite. The Hanged Man is on a kind of T cross. I think it's the Tau cross, and the vines around the cross are very fruitful. So it's the symbolism of the Hanged Man is kind of almost like feeling you're in limbo. It's like a freeze frame. It's like, don't do anything. You can't really do anything. But the Hanged Man, so May 24th, it's like the overarching thing. Just kind of, look from a different point of view. You're being held in suspension. It's kind of, it's not forward, it's not backwards. It's kind of just going along with the energy that seems to be presenting itself. With the head upside down, he has got a resting place for his head. Obviously, give you a bit of a head rush being in that position for a long time. But it's like, okay, it's a different point of view. So I think this all kind of makes sense with the thoughts and the blowing air and being mindful of where your thoughts are, what you're saying. King Midas going, think about what you want. And then the Hanged Man is kind of going, don't rush into anything, just stay there. You're in limbo, you're freeze-framed, and you're freeze-framed for a reason. Look at things from a different angle. Look at things from a place of stasis, from a place of stability, from a place of just being. Sit and breathe and don't kind of rush into anything, not as if you can. What's at the basis? Oh, well, that's nice, look at that. This is coming up a lot lately. Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, the messenger between the gods and the non-gods, shall we say, the divine and the kind of humans. So at the bottom of this, we've got something magical, we've got something beautiful, we've got like this rainbow energy, the energy of Iris, just going, the balance, this, the symbolism in this card is, she's got the gold cup and the silver cup, and the gold cup represents the sun, and the silver cup represents the moon. And then you have the beauty of the landscape, the water, and everything in balance. The sun represents the masculine, the more logical. It represents that kind of drive, energy, that vitality. It's kind of giving and pushing forward. And the moon is receptive. It is kind of more, it's accepting, and it's cool, and it's the nurturing feminine. The sun is the masculine, the moon is the feminine. And so I would say at the base of May 2024, there's some lovely harmony, there's lovely balance, okay? And we're asked just to sit in that with the Hanged Man. Just sit and, just take things in. The past, the Chariot, okay. And as you know, that we have the dark horse and the white horse, the light horse, the balance of shadow self and the light self, and the guy holding on, as the horses gallop at great speed. He's holding on, he's looking confident, he's got his breastplate on, he's got a spear. And in the background, you look at the clouds and the storm and everything gathering. I always get with this card. Well, I shouldn't say what do I get today. Today, I think that even though you can see the way the horses are obviously galloping and they're stirring up all the sand, if you look at the kind of face on that chariot rider, the knight riding the horse chariot. he looks quite calm, doesn't he? No matter what the storm is coming, he looks quite calm, and he's in control of where his vehicle is going. So I know that's in the past, but it's quite interesting regarding what might come now. So what is in the future? So I think from May 2024, maybe pull on some reserves that you where. Just kind of remind yourself when you felt strong and in control, and even though things were kicking off around you, you managed to find that central place of your stability. And no matter what was going on around you, you kind of, well, this is, I'm in the sun now, this is, my stability. Maybe I can... So yeah, stay in that stable place for you, and remind yourself, because it's in the past, so just remind yourself. It's like, yeah, I've been here before, I've been in a place like this before, and I need to keep myself in harmony, myself in balance, my light and shadow in balance. I need to hold on and just go in the direction that I seek to go in, not be pulled by one or the other. What's in the future? Okay, this is coming up a lot lately too, the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune it's just, it's fate, it's the fates. There's a destined kind of fateful feeling of what is happening in your life. Everything is a lesson, isn't it? Everything comes before us to be for a lesson for us, to grow, to develop, to evolve. The Wheel of Fortune is upright, often good fortune. The wheel is turning in a way that you would like it to. But I always like to think about it, the wheel can turn at any point. So even though you're feeling good fortune at the moment, it's like the Buddhists say, isn't it? And the Vipassana stuff that I've been to a few Vipassana courses, the silent meditations, and one of the things is like it just see life, it is as it is, and not to get wrapped up with how you want it to be. You deal with life as it is, as things are, and even though you had a different mindset, just this is as it is, and just go with it. And so the Wheel of Fortune, it's got a destined, fateful feel to it. And let's see what happens. May 2024, very interesting. Where do we find ourselves? How do we feel about us at the moment? Obviously, there's lots of individuals that will watch this, and it all could mean something different. And it couldn't, because maybe we're all connected on a soul level, and therefore we're having a similar experience. Okay, so it's the Three of Wands. And I've kind of told this story before, but I'll tell it again. So you've got, I think it's the King of Colchis. So the person kneeling down has stolen the lineage from Jason. This is Jason and the Argonauts. Jason has just found out. Chiron has just told Jason that this guy in blue killed his father and stole the kingdom and the kingship from him. So Jason goes and confronts this king. And this king offers him the crown in exchange that Jason go and find the very famous golden fleece. Okay, and Jason, because he's been speaking to Chiron, is kind of all tooled up and in the mental frame for doing that. But this king here, see him offering the crown, this king has no intention of giving the kingdom up, and he is a deceitful liar, and he just thinks that Jason will go on this fool's errand to get the golden fleece, which is protected by a fearsome dragon. So this deceitful figure here thinks, oh, I'll send Jason off, and he'll die and he won't come back, and I will carry on being king. So for May 2024, it's like, what I get, because it's in the position of how do we feel about ourselves. Maybe we feel that some people around us are not quite shooting from the hip. Maybe we feel that there's things that You know, there's people that aren't being truly honest or clear or concise, or there's a little bit of argy-bargy. But you know what does come up? Maybe we're being like that to ourselves. Maybe there's part of us that is lying to ourselves, and part of us that is kind of deceiving ourselves about what we want, or we're just kind of putting up with stuff, and there's other things to be considered. I mean, the Three of Wands in the Rider-Waite, you've got that guy looking out. It's like, it's a good thing I just said that, because this is also the Three of Wands. It's about, what Jason is about to do here, he's about to go on an adventure, and he's looking out, and he's thinking about, he's now got to gather around all his friends, get the ship, the Argo, and he's planning an adventure. That's a nicer way of thinking about it, actually, isn't it? He's planning an adventure, and it's an adventure that will change his whole life. The adventure of getting the golden fleece back for Zeus. So that's where we find ourselves with all those, like I say, lots of different people will see this, and then it's all about how you see it yourself. Which one are you in? Because they're all valid, and they all have relations to that card. Okay, how do other people see us, our collective soul group? And again, very different. How does the outside looking in look on us for May? This is really weird. Knight of Swords, wow, okay. This is quite interesting. I did a reading the other day, and these two cards came up. And obviously these cards have been very well shuffled. It must be a theme of the moment. So it's air, it's the Knight of Swords, just dashing in, and again, if you look at it, it's this, again, the storm clouds in the background, it's communicating. It's maybe people looking and maybe they're thinking, they might dash in with words or thoughts or communications that, they have an idea or a thought that they might say something rash, or they might see us as being rash and being hoodwinked, or just being taken away with an idea or a thought. Okay, people are like, oh crikey, look at them rushing in. It's the twins, it's the Dioscuri, and it's like they just want to go off and rush in, and with the swords raised, and yay. So is that how other people see us, being kind of just rushing in without too much calmness or thought? Do we give a stuff what other people think about us? It's always useful to know, but as we know, it's none of our business what other people think about us. That's their stuff. As long as we love ourselves and we respect ourselves and we really enjoy what we do and how we act and behave, everyone else can think what they think. It's their prerogative. So, hopes and fears. Oh, sweet. Lovely. Look at that. So the hope is that the Knight of Cups, so the hope is that love strolls into our lives. I mean, the Knight of Cups is a lover. Here he is with his chalice of love and affection. And the Knight of Cups actually really adored women in the myth. I like that little fish jumping out of the water at the bottom. Okay. So, the Knight of Cups, it's all about love. And it's, even though he's a knight, he does think, he's kind of, you would think the page is naive, but this knight just really adores women. And he is sometimes taken for granted. As you know, women can do. Let's be honest, sisters. We know we can do it. And we see it happening. Nice, lovely men can be really taken advantage of, which is why I think some women really like a bastard. They like someone they can't control, and they like a man who really is in his own power and will not be bent and won't be twisted or manipulated. But it's lovely. He's lovely, kind, lovely men. Hey, I tell you, talking about kind, lovely men, I had such an experience this month, which was really quite shocking. I realised I attracted it to myself. I aligned with it for some reason. Well, I know the reason now. I was on a Telegram group having a discussion and came across the most horrible, vile misogynists. And, you know, my life is much dedicated to the empowerment of women and, you know, getting women to realise how wonderful they are in all so many ways. Obviously, men are wonderful too. But boy, oh boy, did I come across some vile men. I think they were American, but oh my goodness, it was shocking. And you know, you think there's enough problems in the world, and then you think, well, there's enough good people balancing it off. It was something about a lesson for me just to see that, you know, in middle America there is this vile hatred of women. And it's just, and I was saying to these men, well, you know, instead of blaming women constantly, why don't you do your personal inner work and work through it and work about why you feel like that? And they were just vile. To the point of, like, one of them said that, you know, I should forfeit my life because, you know, obviously I'm being a feisty woman and actually having an opinion. God forbid, women who have an opinion. And, you know, aren't afraid to express it. Oh, it was shocking. So yeah, the Knight of Cups, that's lovely. Love, so that's a lovely hope that love enters our lives in kindness and compassion, you know, on his white horse of purity, that we open our hearts to love and we open our hearts to being loved, we open our hearts to loving. Okay, so that's really quite a nice thing for May. And then what's the outcome? Okay, this is interesting. Let me think about that. So this is a judgment card, as you can obviously see if you can read English. So when you look at judgment, you've got Mercury here with his lovely red cloak and the staff of the caduceus. Okay, the caduceus is, you know, a symbol of communication, the snakes of wisdom that twine and meet 4 times on his staff. I don't know why I'm saying that today, but, you know, that's what comes up. How bizarre. And his red cloak and his winged helmet. Can we see his winged feet? Yes, we can. Look at his little winged feet, you know. So Mercury the messenger. Okay. Mercury the messenger. What is the messenger? What is the messenger? What is the message he brings? He's down. Look at him. So you can see in the background the upper world, the world of light and nature, and he is down in the underworld. Mercury has a special connection with the underworld. He can go into the underworld untouched and come up and down. So here he is. He's down, and see how these people are being reborn. Okay, it's like, for me, okay, today it feels like a card of, you know, it is related to this karma, people kind of facing up to themselves, facing up to their behaviours, and actually I get today like forgiveness, you know, and all right, yes, being judged in a way, but it's all about forgiveness, isn't it? And as I used to struggle with forgiveness for so many years, and then really started to understand it, you know, about it's all about forgiving the self, really. And, you know, that whole thing that when you don't forgive, you become a slave to the situation or people that you are holding grudges against, because they probably don't give a stuff, but you're giving your headspace and mind energy to someone who really doesn't deserve it. So having the Judgment card, get out the sun, shall we? Because he's definitely at the sun, is about that resurrection, that rebirth, being reborn. What are you going to be reborn to? What do you want to let go of? And you know, because obviously it's death and rebirth. There's a you know, you're in the underworld. He's in the underworld. So it's also looking at shadow self, letting something go, letting yourself be reborn. You know, you've got that red cloak of you know, action and you know, getting on with stuff. blood, you know, the life force. You've got the 2 pillars, you've got the whole steps down into the unconscious. So you might be getting something up from the unconscious, some realization about yourself, some karmic bond, or something about rebirthing, being reborn, resurrected to your own self. So that sounds quite an exciting month, doesn't it? Wow. So yeah, there's May 2024. I'll take a photograph of that. If anyone's got any questions, please do fire away. Or if you've got your own interpretations, that's always interesting. What stands out for me? I think the Hanged Man really goes with the Judgment, because it's like, okay, Temperance is holding this balance, sun and moon. The Hanged Man is like, just stay in stasis, just stay still enough to feel and hear the messages clearly from your own heart. Okay, and obviously, you know, you might have stuff coming in. The Wheel of Fortune, it's like all on a fateful kind of turn and flow. And then the Judgment, you've got an opportunity to rebirth yourself, to reinvent yourself, okay, to judge yourself. I don't really like saying judge yourself, but to reflect upon yourself, I think, is a nicer way of putting it. Reflect upon yourself and reflect upon, you know, what you want to let go of and what you want to move forward into, and really take this in, this beautiful Knight of Cups, and just go, okay, this, just allow myself to be loved by myself, and you know, receiving that which is coming your way. So that looks quite exciting, doesn't it? Oh, look at this lovely sun. Oh, it's lovely. It's been so warm today. It's been delicious. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining me. And like I say, let's see what happens. Hope you had a great April. And here's to a joyful, compassionate, loving, and open and lovely, balanced, harmonious May 2024. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you for an astro update very soon. Okay, bye bye.